Okay, so we've been doing some clearing with Elsie, and I'd say this is a very good machine for clearing land. I'm gonna let her out a little bit, shut her down. I'm getting low on diesel. I should have filled it up before I came up here, but we've been running hour and a half, something like that. Not a whole lot. I mean, we got some slack in that bucket out there I don't like. And then, like I say, we've got some boom cylinder leaking. And the crowd, we'll get those fixed. We'll clean her up. We're gonna make some money with this machine, I think, or I am. Somebody is. I hope so. Anyway, I like it. It's comfortable to operate, quiet. I'm still learning. I'm still a little bit rough with it. I've got to get that finesse down. I think it'll come with time. It's just like anything else. It takes a minute to get these things. I'm gonna go ahead and shut that bucket down there. But the thumb, there's not really any finesse on it. It's either on or off. There's no, you can't feather the control on it, so it's just on or off. But anyway, I'm gonna go get my pickup, get some diesel in it, maybe get a bite to eat for lunch, and get back after some clearing. But we've got this looking better already. And there's some big trees in there. I mean, I've kind of scattered some sticks. I didn't like that, but it's hard not to do that with these cedars because them things are just, you know, they're so bushy. They got them branches that come off of them. And anyway, we got us a pretty good burn pile there. Not sure when I'm going to burn it. Probably wouldn't burn very good today, but we might try to do that soon. Anyway, honestly, I can't believe I'm sitting in my own excavator at this point. But time will tell where it takes us. I don't plan on quitting the backhoe work. The backhoe work is always going to be probably my money maker. As far as, I know you guys probably don't believe it, but a backhoe is so cheap to maintain, and the hourly rate I can get on one is pretty good. So that's the plan, is to continue to do footings, and as I get more and more of this type of clearing jobs. Now this is for me. I'm not saying this is actually a job, but it needs to be done. I mean, I have a 80-acre place here, and it needs to be straightened out once in a while. So, but yeah, let's. I think I want to track down the hill and clear this up so we got our view. I want to see what that looks like. So what I thought I would do is go down to the bottom of this hill and start working my way back up. Now, this is going to kind of, this is a pretty good slope. It might not look like it, but I figured I'd go ahead and rip a few of these out while I'm here. Trying to figure out how that bucket works on them little ones. It don't work very good, but you can get them sometimes. Because you notice there's a lot of natural rock around here, and I don't really want to tear that rock up any more than I have to, because I kind of think it looks neat. But it's just a sandstone. It's nothing hard. They used to build a lot of houses out of it around here, but it crumbles pretty bad. So. All right, you little cedars, you gotta get, we're gonna throw these guys over here. And we're just gonna go forward here and down the hill. Probably should keep my bucket low. Actually, well, we'll go down here and see what it looks like. So we've cleared some of our farm. We didn't clear this area. We never have. This is all. But there used to be so many cedars in here you couldn't walk through a lot of it. It was just really bad. Now we're tipping. That got pretty tippy right there. But yeah, like I say, it's gonna be nice to have this looking good. There's some pretty places on this farm you just can't see them because of all the nasty old cedars. And those are black locust trees right there. And if you dig up a black locust tree, you're going to have them come back in a swarm like you wouldn't believe. So what I'm going to do is these two trees here are going to become the center of my new brush pile here, I think. And we'll start out busting out some limbs here. Kind of see what we got. These old cedars are just nasty trees. A lot of people don't understand these are really invasive trees. I mean, they take over the land, and well, I didn't really mean to stand them up there. All right, let go of my dadgum thumb. Come on. There we go. Okay. A lot of people think, oh, you're just killing trees just to kill trees. Well, these are not really good trees. These things, I think they say a single cedar tree can take up 2 acres of water. And what do they do with it? They don't produce much of anything good except pollen. And, you know, but being able to pick them trees up, drop them, get the dirt off the root ball, that makes for a lot cleaner brush pile burn. And I might need to squish that one a little bit. It ain't really coming clean, but you rake your teeth in there and get it to clean up a little bit. Shake her loose. Anyway, Elsie's a beast, man. She just takes these little trees like they're nothing. Just tosses them around. This is bad. This is bad to the bone right here. So, am I glad I got a big excavator? Yes, I am, because just the sheer power you got, the time the savings of time of doing this. I mean, when you get into big trees, you need a bigger machine. You can't. I could have probably hauled a 120 size excavator on Little Red, and I could have got away with that. But the problem with that is, like I say, the size of the machine, and then, you know, I'm still not a whole lot bigger than a backhoe for doing digging work. So, well, that one's rooted in there good, isn't it? Look at that root. Them old roots they just go for miles. So these trees actually harm the grass. They're not really good for wildlife either. I mean, there were deer here before there were cedar. I just about bet you. But I'm finally kind of learning the balance of this machine. You know, when you're on the side of a hill and you got your counterweight working against you and your booms, you know, there's a certain feel, and drop some dirt out of that maybe. But I think we're going to do real good with this excavator. I think we're going to make some money. If nothing else, we're going to we're going to make the world a better place by getting rid of a bunch of these dang cedars. So anyway, let's I want to get my tracks facing uphill here, so not real good to work over the sides of them. You don't have the power, and you don't have it's just harder on the undercarriage. Come on, baby. But that's just neat, being able to grab them things like that. Anyway, and I'm just running economy mode. I'm not running fast. I don't think I need to. I mean, this is my property. I'm gonna run, you know. But we could run a little faster on this, but that tree, there's an elm in there, and I wouldn't be surprised if that elm doesn't die after I take these cedars out. I've seen that happen before. I don't know what causes it, but I've seen places where people have taken out cedars and the elm doesn't make it. Easy, easy, easy. Yeah, we're on a pretty good hill here. I'm trying not to I don't want to shut down too fast swinging. I kind of got a little carried away there. Anyway. But this is going to be a beautiful little area down here. We'll have more trails to ride for the side by side. But this is all starting to become natural feel now. I mean, I'm getting to where it's not awkward. I think I'm getting a little smoother, maybe a little neater, but I'm still leaving a lot of limbs laying around. It's hard not to. So this is a machine for the job, I'm telling you. Some of these cedars come out real easy, and some of them are kind of under some rocks. They got roots around the rocks and stuff. You can usually just kind of pluck them out of the ground if they're not real big, but this is going to be pretty down here. So I do have a painting clearing job coming up, and I will be working on it probably soon. But you know, I wanted to kind of run this thing through its paces a little bit at home. I still don't have the. Well, he got a bunch of dirt, didn't he? Anyway, I want to get it right. When I take it out on a job, I want it to be ready to go, ready to run. But these trees here are murder on a dozer, man. It's tough. It's tough getting these out. Because they got branches on them. Hell, some of these are 6-inch branches that stick out from a tree 20 foot. So, you know, this is just perfect. This is a perfect machine for the job. So if we pull the boom into us, she'll swing uphill a little easier. I'm trying to see what kind of tree we got there. I mean, how big? That's a big old cedar. So not very many people thought I would buy a big excavator. I've wanted to have, you know, I still want to have a truck big enough someday to move it myself, but you know, it doesn't really pay if you don't have the work for it and you're not moving it all the time. And I'm hoping that the jobs I get are big enough that, you know, Elsie might not be home much, but she can be out on the jobs. But this is a really stable machine with that long undercarriage and the wide tracks, 32-inch track pads. Yeah, she's nice. Pretty cool, pretty cool.